Good morning. This is the Blaine's World podcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and you can also get more information and find out about previous shows on our website, which is kind of behind me there, www.blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the nation. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce my guest in this week's show, or today's show, Mike Smart, co-founder of Function 101. And Mike, feel free to wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this. Okay, and that's Mike. And you're operating out of where, Mike?
In Lodi, California, in the Central Valley of California. And my business partner is based in Las Vegas.
Okay, so we'll talk about the business in just a second, but I should mention that Mike Smart is the co-founder of a product called Function 101, with over 20 years of experience helping businesses grow in the Apple ecosystem. Mike and his partners launched Function 101 to create products that help customers stay organized and productive with the Apple setups. And for the benefit of the folks who don't know it, that's I have it the right way. That's the Apple, the Function 101. Let me show the sign. The Function 101. Yeah, you can see 101 at the bottom. And I have to tell you, Mike, and I think you and I have spoken about this. This is the greatest thing since cream cheese. You know, I don't know. I do know that I was ready to almost bag everything until I found your product. You know, and just so thank you for coming up with this product.
Well, thank you for being a customer. It does mean a lot to us.
Okay, and I have to ask you, Mike, since it's the first time we've spoken, as a child, you grew up where?
In Western Massachusetts.
Okay, and did you know, in growing up as a child in Western Massachusetts, did you always know you wanted to come up with a really cool product and head your own company? Was that your goal as a kid?
You know, probably not. I think I had aspirations for playing basketball as long as I could. And, you know, my lack of jumping ability kind of stunted that opportunity.
Real quick, digress. There was a New York Knicks drafted a ball player years ago, Frank Granite, at the University of Arkansas, 7'1", and scouting report, he had good height. You know, so that with the jumping ability, you could have been a contender, but you got out of basketball. What got you into being a tech guy?
Yeah, well, I went to a school in outside of Boston called Bentley College, which is now Bentley University, in a town called Waltham, which is a very prevalent business school, and really so wanted to get into business. And after college, moved out to the West Coast into Southern California and caught up with another contingent of guys that were from, you know, the Boston area, both from school and from the surrounding areas. And I think, you know, when you look at certain economies, you know, when I first moved out, I'll date myself, that was around the early 1990s, where, you know, the economy wasn't that great, so you had to be entrepreneurial. And so I think as time has progressed, that bug to, you know, be focused on in thinking entrepreneurial, whether it was in a corporate, you know, space or even on my own, that was something that was kind of, that always kept speaking to me.
So you then formed, when did the company form?
Yeah, we formed to take a step back from Function 101. We have a company that was focused on sales and marketing and helping companies launch into what we call the Apple ecosystem. So we had helped companies get into the Apple stores. And this was at the time when Steve Jobs was still around, may he rest in peace. And the Apple stores were probably less than 50 stores at the time, and had the opportunity to work with several startups and helping them craft their products, find ideas, and, you know, iterate, you know, what makes a marketable product. And, you know, having such great feedback and working with the Apple stores gave us a lot of great learnings. And so around 2017, we had launched our own product, and Function 101 was born through a crowdfunding campaign called the Bento Stack, which was a tech organizer. So if you're familiar with tech organizers, a lot of what we saw at the time were people using Ziploc baggies just to shove a bunch of cables in their bag, right? And we've all been guilty of it. Or you would see just kind of inexpensive neoprene bags. But we wanted something that would, you know, look nice on your desk and keep your desk organized. But when you want to take it with you on the road, everything that you needed, would sit in this organizer. And my partner, John Serino, would go out to Japan. And when he was out there, he was just looking at all the bento lunch boxes, discovered like, hey, this thing fits in my backpack. This is perfect. We can store all of our cables, all my chargers, and it fits all in one. So we adapted the product for the cables and chargers and fit everything just perfectly. And that product was born and kind of gave us some of the capital that we needed to start Function 101 and get that going.
And talk about that product. Is that product still around?
It is still around. Yeah. Very popular.
Do you have one in front of you?
Let's see here. Grab this one.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
This is our tech organizer, right? So it's two compartments. You could, if you're just going on the road and you want to take just one with you, you could do that. And now you have just one little compartment. So some people don't want to take it too bulky. One of the fun things is we built in a little phone stand. So, right in there, you have a way to do portrait or landscape. And we have compartments perfectly for your watch bands or an Apple Pencil if you have one as well. So
and you can fit your phone in there as well?
You don't fit your phone in it. It's
Gotcha.
just to keep all the accessories that go with your phone and laptop or iPad.
And that's not why I invited you on the show, but since we're talking about it, is that product still available if people want it?
Yeah, it's available on our website at function101.com. It's being offered at places such as West Elm and Bloomingdale's, as well as Amazon as well.
Okay, but what a great product, and
Thank you.
What's incredible about it, you wouldn't think about it, but as you're talking, I see myself, Mike, needing it, that I have all this stuff all around my desk, and then to find it, and it's just in one central space. That's a pretty cool product.
Yeah, and again, it's meant to be kind of versatile in the sense that you can have it be a nice desk organizer, or it's a travel organizer as well.
Well, it's also a perfect gift for Christmas or Hanukkah coming up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very popular in their holidays. Thank you.
What, just back to what started it. So you came up with the idea, you and your partner came up with the idea for this, or how'd you come up with it?
Yeah, both my partner and I kind of thought about this and kind of, we definitely have a good back and forth when it comes to product design. And sometimes it's starting with literally a bento lunchbox, off the shelf. Sometimes it's an X-Acto knife and a piece of cardboard, when we iterate. And, sometimes those are, we align, sometimes we don't, but it's a great experience designing products, and it's really fun.
And how long did it take you from the idea of having the idea until it was ready for sale? How long did that take?
The bento stack, it's probably takes, you think you can go fast, but it always takes longer than you think, right? And so I think it probably took us from ideation to launch on the crowdfunding campaign to shipping less than a year.
Okay, pretty good though, when you think about it. And the crowdfunding idea was successful for you?
It was. We were in the early days, and kind of it's a bootstrap business, so it wasn't like we had a lot of capital, and so we wanted to use it we used it as the opportunity to raise capital for our business and kind of give us some cash to keep inventing new products and designing new products that we think can help customers, especially around the Apple ecosystem.
Is that what you are still in the process of doing? Always looking at new things to come up with?
Absolutely. You always have to be looking at new ideas and new products, and not only how to make your existing products better, but what are some of the simple things that people are doing that we can make their life easier. So
and let's use that to segue into one of the reasons I had come on the show tonight, is the fact that somehow I discovered you. I'm not sure how, but with the fact that I came across Function 101, right? Is that what we call Function 101?
101, yes.
Okay. And again, I already mentioned it's incredible product. And I have to thank you, Mike, because I was ready to junk my Apple TV until I found this. Okay. And maybe just since I'm talking about it, I'll have you explain it. So what is Function 101?
Yeah, so Function 101 is a product company, and we design products that are built around the Apple ecosystem, right? And so we want to find ways to make people get the most out of their ecosystem, out of their Apple products, whether it's an Apple TV, their MacBook, their iPad, their iMac, and really have, from a productivity standpoint, have a really productive setup. But also when we saw the Apple TV, I'm a big fan of the Apple TV, and as well as my partners, and we just saw that there had to be an easier way to navigate. And I think when we uncovered the remote, a couple things is a really interesting time, because when we launched it was in 2020, right? And so we will not necessarily have to name what was happening in 2020,
Right.
but a lot of people were doing two things. One, they were at home watching a lot of TV, and two, they were cutting the cord for the first time, right?
Right.
So they were going from their DirecTV, to their Comcast, their Spectrum, those cable boxes, and now going to streaming for the first time. And certainly the Apple TV's been around for a while, and the use case for an Apple TV was simple: press, play, pause, watch, movies that were in your iTunes library. Well, with streaming, like YouTube TV, Hulu, Prime, whatever your favorite streaming or live streaming, how you use the Apple TV changed dramatically, right? You were just using a play or pause. You're now navigating, going from different apps. You're scrolling through, news feeds. You're scrolling through, TV guides. You're fast forwarding. You're rewinding. You're doing a lot more with that. So how people use the Apple TV changed a lot. And we were fortunate enough when we launched this that there was some pent-up demand, and had the opportunity to get coverage in the Apple publications. There's a lot of Apple blogs like Cult of Mac and Mac Rumors. The Verge was a very techie blog that picked us up. But I will tell you, we were very fortunate that our friends at the Wall Street Journal commented on our product, and really things took off, and that was a wild ride for us, when we got picked up in the Wall Street Journal during that season.
And you ain't seen nothing yet, Mike, because now you're being picked up by BLAINESWORLD. So,
Oh, this is like a whole new level. It's a
right.
whole new level.
Let me ask you, were you always an Apple guy?
And I really became an Apple guy when the iPod came around.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of when when I moved from being a Windows and HP, or kind of the PC laptop of the day, that would last maybe a year, to once I got a MacBook, and your MacBook life cycle is probably 5 to 6 years, right? If you wanted to, right. Sometimes even longer. So, and certainly you didn't want to go into an Apple meeting where with an HP laptop.
Well,
get the jeers on that.
I had sort of the same experience, that I was a PC guy. I still am, but now I have my iPad, and I have my iPod, and I wanted to get my wife last Christmas an Iron, but she didn't like that product. An Iron.
that would get you on the couch really fast.
That's the one joke I have about Apple products, but I love them. And so, talk a little bit about, then you mentioned Apple TV, and I fought it for a long time. In other words, I had Amazon, I had Netflix, I had everything I needed, I thought. But then Apple TV, and I'm kind of giving a commercial for them, and they're not even paying me for this here, but it's a great deal. You get, I'll let you highlight it, Mike, but I think everybody should get it. You get Apple TV. What else do you get when you sign up for Apple TV?
Yeah, when you get Apple TV, you get your ability to you get your choice of streaming apps, right? There's subscription fees that go along with that, but you're able to share that with your close friends or close family. So let's not talk about that. We don't want to be password sharing, but but games and everything.
Apple actually offers that as a promotion. You can sign up for it, and you can sign up for 5 people. You can sign up, and they encourage you to do it, at least initially. But you mentioned the games. What else do you get with it?
The games, your ability to have your photo stream kind of show up as well. With the latest update of Apple TV that people may not be aware of, which is really cool, and you can use our button remote to navigate, is now you can do FaceTime with Apple TV.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a really cool feature. And you kind of put your, like, I'm a recent empty nester, so our daughters are down in Southern California. So we can sit at the couch. I'll put my phone, by the TV. So you kind of have this, natural, and the Apple TV talks to your phone like it's a webcam. And so it's called continuity. So now you can sit there and you can put your phone by the TV, and now you're not trying to huddle in, on your
Right, I hear
Facebook,
you.
trying to huddle in. You put it on Apple TV, and it follows you around. It gives you the ability to kind of have like that wide angle, and you don't lose quality of the sound. So if people have not, check out, especially with the holidays coming up, check out FaceTime on Apple TV. It's a really cool feature.
By the way, is that mentioned on your website?
It's not, but it will soon. So we're putting together a one of the big things that we have as initiative is, we know that this is, the Apple TV is new to a lot of people. So we're creating on our blog a Apple TV resource center. So this will talk about not just how to use our button remote, which we want people to do, but hey, if you want to know about where some sales are with the Apple TV, because people may want to get something, or get quick links to some support pages, or feedback on streaming apps, trying to create like a one source for our customers to get the most out of their Apple TV. And that comes down.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that really it comes down to our philosophy, that John and I had talked about especially when we first launched our brand, is that we really want to have customers for life, right? And it's okay if I kind of segue into this about kind of customer experiences. There's an article that we read from a gentleman by the name of Kevin Kelly. It's been around for a long time, and I'll send a link to it so we can add it to the show notes.
Please, yeah.
It's about your first 10,000 customers, or even your first 1,000 customers, to be your raving fans, right? And especially when the customers were signing up on Indiegogo or crowdfunding, a lot of people are placing a bet on you, and there's a lot of times those customers never receive product. And so, we saw they were asking a lot of questions, and John was amazing. And we said, we're going to have customers for life. People are going to ask a lot of questions, but we're going to take care of them. And I said, we're a Disney family, right? And it's kind of just visualize like we're at Disneyland, right? This is the happiest place on earth for customer service. And so we want to just take good care of our customers, because we want them to be customers for life. And, with the button remote, that's kind of how we got connected, right? Hey, someone has a question, and sometimes, yes, a YouTube video would be helpful, and thank you for that tip. But sometimes when you go to your support page, it isn't necessarily clear that sometimes you need a call. Right. And so, it's amazing that people are like so surprised when you say, hey, give us your number. We'll give you a call. We'll help you out. We'll help you out with your setup. But it's, people always find it refreshing. But we can call it old school because of age, or old school because of philosophy, or really we just want to do the right thing by our customers, because we want them to come back and we want them to be happy. And it's amazing what a quick phone call would do.
Again, to finish the story, and what I call it, Mike, I say marketing is high touch, not high tech. You guys are the high tech people. But again, to give you the compliment, same thing too. I asked for help. I had a minor little thing I needed help on, and I think I'm going to get an email a day or two later. Within 5 minutes, I got a call from you. I said, "Whoa, I've never had that happen in my life. So thank you." It was very refreshing. It's I've never seen that from a company,
Yeah, there's so much to learn. Again, while Apple has some frustrations with their remote, they have a lot of great things. And one of the phrases that you kind of hear in business is surprise and delight. Right. And if you can surprise and delight with a product, you can always surprise and delight with the customer experience, right? And we all know that even just not when I get a product and there's a handwritten note that says, thanks for your order, that goes a long way, right? And so for us, being able to pick up the phone is just our way of kind of doing that customer service surprise and delight, and it pays off. We think it pays off, right?
And,
We
well,
may not always get it right, and we're always learning on how to get better, but that's one area that we wanted to lean into.
well, I'm already a Railing fan, and did a review on Amazon. I'll put you in my blog as well. But let's just go back to the product then, because again, it seems like a commercial for both Apple TV and Function 101, but so be it. It's good stuff. And so back to the remote. So when I got this, Mike, when I got my Apple TV, and talk about that as well. If you want Apple TV, you have two ways you can get it, right? You buy a TV that already has Apple TV in it, right? Or what's the deal?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of TVs today are called smart TVs.
Right.
So they'll have apps preloaded in. And so, it's been a while, but, a lot of times they would have like Netflix, they'll have YouTube TV or Tubi or so many different apps. And some of them are good and some of them are bad, or some could have room for improvement on that. But at the same time, with a smart TV, one of the challenges is that you still have kind of maybe a traditional remote or a clunky remote, or kind of using the tiles there, where it's just a good user experience, right? Like with Apple TV, it just works. And then with the Apple TV and a button remote, it just works really well, right? It was what we hope. And so, our goal is not to take away. And when we talk about the Siri remote, we don't necessarily say that it's bad. We just think you can do more by having our remote as part of that experience.
And talk about that process, because that's exactly what happened in my case. I guess my smart TV was a couple of years old, so it didn't have access to the Apple TV or something, and I had to buy, what kind of unit did I have to buy to be able to hook into it? I was telling you about it. Yeah.
Yes. So I think with the Apple TV, there's the first and second generation ones
Right.
that just have like a little silver remote.
Right.
But now, like the Apple TV 4K and the Apple TV HD now have some options that you plug into your HDMI port, and then you're really good to go, and you have options to all the different apps available.
Okay, but then back to the product you folks are offering. The problem with that one, though, is Apple then sent a remote with it, or a device to push to get it to work. But I think I've told you, I thought it was the worst device I've ever seen. It was like a little sliver of something, and I couldn't operate it for the life of me. Did a lot of people tell you that?
We'll say that there was what's the word? Friction in using the remote, or frustration. And
Right.
Again, our goal is to provide a solution, right? In our communication, we're not here to necessarily say how bad that is or good it is, and we'll let that's the customers to decide. But how can we make things better? And so it certainly was opportune for us, and the timing was right to bring this to market. And one of the things is we have that, and then recently we also launched a version that's called the Bluetooth edition, because a lot of people have the button remote within what's called line of sight. So the first version we came out with was what's called was infrared only. So you have to have line of sight between your remote and the Apple TV. There's a lot of customers who have maybe some more advanced home theater setups where they, maybe on a wall, so they hide the Apple TV behind the TV or in a cabinet. So now our Bluetooth edition will allow you to pair it through Bluetooth, but now you can have that same experience of the infrared edition for those that didn't have line of sight. So if you don't have line of sight, our remote still works great with the Bluetooth edition.
And the cool thing about the remote, I keep showing it, but it looks like a traditional remote, or it works like a traditional remote. So again, thank you for making it so there was no learning curve. I didn't want to learn how to have to use a remote. And even when I learned it, Mike, I didn't like it. It was frustrating for me to use. I think I told you off the air, I was almost ready to junk the whole thing. I didn't want to use it. And I got this within that day. I was up and running. And it's what, a 5-minute learning curve, would you say?
Yeah. Yes. I think the big thing that we want to help customers with, and that's probably the biggest call, is we don't necessarily get calls on how to use it with the Apple TV. It's how to use it to get the volume and the mute and the power to work with their TV or a sound bar or a receiver. So that little programming part seems to be one of the most common customer service pieces that will help. And a lot of times, it takes a little while, and so we're not afraid to. That's where those customer service calls come in. And to me, it's an opportunity to talk to a customer, take the negative that someone's having trouble. How do we turn it into a positive that it can be a good customer experience, and we can learn from them and how to make our product better. And that's how the Bluetooth kind of came about. And but we're always happy and appreciative of opportunities to interact with our customers, especially in the over the phone or those traditional ways, because we're not a retail storefront.
And we should mention too, if anybody's listening to this program, I think perhaps the biggest selling point for both me and my wife as well was the fact that I was using, until I discovered this device, I was using 3 remotes, Mike, and I assume other people probably were using three remotes, or you've heard that before. And then, I saw that I could knock it down to 2 remotes, and you helped me. I can now use 1 remote. Can you imagine, to operate my TV? It's just so. If for no other reason, if you don't want to have 3 remotes and try to find them, this is a great little product. And again, if I can mention, to find out the how to get it or more information, best bet is go to the website.
Yeah, go to function101.com.
Okay. And by the way, if you go there, you can buy the product when you go to the website.
You can buy the product, and we'll have a special promo code for all of your listeners. If they use promo code BLAINE25, they'll get 25% off.
Wow. Let me put a note on that. Thank you. That's a very sweet offer. And what you mentioned, unless you want to, I have to say, for what I get out of this, I thought the price was very reasonable. I can't believe it's as reasonable as it is. I guess the price changes, or can you share the price as of now?
Yeah, so the infrared edition is $29.95.
Right.
The Bluetooth edition is $39.95. And if people wanted a Apple Siri remote standalone, that costs $59.95. So we find that this is a good value for the customers.
Okay. I'm telling you, a tremendous value and perfect timing, because we're into November. You're looking for the great Christmas, again, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa gift. Here it is, and people love it. Anybody who gets it makes their life easier. Mike, you were telling me also off the air, this is one product you have. You're constantly also working on new products or other products. Talk to me a little bit about the company. What else do you offer folks?
Yeah, I think, again, just in time for the holidays, one of the products that we have is what we call our cable blocks. Everyone's felt the frustration of putting their cable on a desk or on a nightstand, and then it falling down to the ground, and then your legs are kicking up, or you're on your knees trying to get that cable, or you're putting a paperweight on it, or a book or something. So we always saw an opportunity to how do we solve that problem? And obviously, the white charging cables are very popular with Apple, so we wanted to say, how do we find something that complements that? And when we looked out in the market, a lot of the products that we saw used adhesives to keep these cable organizers in place. And that's just not, to me, the best experience. If I'm putting that on, I can't move it. I can't get where I need to. Right. And I'd be afraid to, especially with all these nice standing desks that people have been getting, you don't want to have it rip on the top. So we used weights and magnets to put this together. So this is one cable block, and they all connect together. So we ship them in a pack of 4. So we have cable blocks, and then we also have a desk mat. So, to have a nice, productive and organized workspace, we have what we call Desk Mat Pro, and that was infused with metal. So now our cable blocks connect anywhere on the desk mat. So now you have kind of desk protection and cable organization all in one. So those are some of the products.
And so information on those products is available also at the website?
Yeah, they're available on the website. That BLAINE25 promo code will apply to all the products on the website. These make a great stocking stuffer, the cable blocks do. So they ship in a 4-pack. And so I think definitely we appreciate that.
What are you and your partner, do you stay up at night thinking about what you're going to come up with next, or are you thinking about that as we speak?
Yeah. I think it's too much coffee and yeah.
So as we speak, you're working on new stuff?
We're always working on new stuff. We'll be exhibiting at the Consumer Electronics Show in January. And the backyard of Las Vegas. So if anyone's going to be heading out there, come by and see us there. And so we're looking forward to, introducing some new stuff for 2024 and continue to grow that opportunity.
Incredible too that you mentioned the trade show. You also have, I'll ask you where they come from. Where are your customers actually?
They're all over. The majority of our customers are in the United States, especially when it comes to the Apple TV remote. So those customers, the Apple TV is probably most popular in the US as well as Australia and a little bit in Europe, but really it's US and Canada is the most popular areas for Apple TV. So that's where we have a lot of our customers, but we have customers from all over. Even in your own backyard, if you're in a hospital at Duke Health, you'll find our button remote in the patient family rooms. So they've decided to use those remotes with an Apple TV at the Duke Health system.
Now the remote works for the Apple TV, and also getting around on the internet on the Apple TV. Does it work on Apple Music at all, or just get me into Apple Music?
You can use Apple Music on in the app on Apple TV. So there's an Apple Music app. You can do pause, play, go to the next song as well.
Okay, very cool. And that's another great thing with the Apple. You get the Apple Music, the Apple News, you name it. It's a great product. And it sounds like I'm pushing Apple, but I'm actually pushing Function 101. In terms of the future, do you have any other grandiose plans coming?
I think we're just going to keep looking to find more products to, get the most out of your Apple setups. We want to really find more ways to make people's life productive. When they're working, time is so important, right? And there's so many distractions. So if we can help them create an organized workspace, right, where they can focus, and the desk mat is kind of like their playing field. They have a laptop stand that if they want to take them with you, so we have an Elevate stand that allows you to fold up and go right into your bag. So if you want to be productive at home, productive back to the office, productive in a coffee shop or in a hotel room or in another part of the room, we want to give you the tools to be as productive as possible, be focused and not have to worry about the distractions, and you don't have to have the perfect setup because we can help put it together with our solutions. And
do you get ideas from your customers?
All the time.
Yeah. So if anybody has an idea for Apple related product, I guess, drop you a note or get in touch with you.
Yeah, they can email info@function101.com, and we can put that in the show notes. That goes to myself and my business partner. And so we see and read all those emails. So we'll be sure to, reply back to you with that feedback. Okay.
You might even be surprised. You might even get a real call from a real person, which is, again, really cool. Hey, Mike, I got to tell you, first of all, you're also lucky, first of all, but you're also lucky. You have to have one of the great names of all time. So Mike Smart, Mike Smart is just a great name, to make lives easier because of these smart uses of Apple products, so.
Yeah. Well, I'll date myself again, but I got a lot of teasing about the where's my shoe phone and all of that stuff back in the day.
So we're not going to have a shoe phone coming out though, or
not yet. So
by the way, that'd be a cute product, or you talk about the box you showed me, that'd be a cute product to come in a shoe. Wrap up, best bet, Mike, if you want to find out more about the Function, I keep showing it, but Function 101, and again, Mike had to point out to me, you can kind of, if you look carefully, you can see the 101 in there. And by the way, how did you come up with that name?
I wish I could remember, but I think we wanted, we liked the word function, and I think 101 was just, hey, we want to make sure that products are they're simple, right? So in college, it's kind of like that class is 101, right? That's that first class, and you're just going to get it. And so we wanted to keep things simple with our products. Sometimes you can over-engineer some things, and we just want to keep it simple and something that you can use, because you can always get something out of an accounting 101 class or right. Marketing 101 class. So that's where Function 101 came in.
Okay. Great name, great product. Michael, I thank you for being my guest on this edition of the BLAINESWORLD podcast. One more time, the website is
function101.com, and that's the best place to find us. We're also on Instagram at Function 101. And then, we'll list out some of the other places that you can buy products if you are on Amazon and Best Buy to name a few, but Function 101 will be the best place to get that Blaine 25 promo code.
And again, don't just believe what I'm saying, what Mike is saying, but just look at the reviews. And I will tell you these are legitimate reviews because I put my review in there. I don't do it for all companies, but this one I felt compelled to. And actually lives up, I shouldn't say that, it surpasses my expectations, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Finally, last time, website is?
Function101.com.
And thank you, Mike Smart.
Function101.com.
Thanks for being my guest on Blaine's World Podcast. Also, like to thank my producer, Cappy Cassetti, and we hope to see you sometime soon. If you're ever in Western North Carolina, stop by and say hello. Thanks, man.
Thank you.